The encounter. David maneuvered carefully through the dense alien foliage, his eyes wide with the thrill of discovery on this untouched planet. His botanical scanner beeped intermittently, identifying non-Earth plant life with an efficiency that made every step more exciting than the last. The lush, vivid colors of the flora were unlike anything he had documented in his career as a botanist. As he pushed aside a large, leafy frond, he stumbled upon a clearing. There, he encountered another human, Marco, who was also part of the initial exploration team but specialized in geology. Marco. Didn't expect to see anyone else from the crew here, David said, his voice tinged with both surprise and relief. Marco, wiping sweat from his brow, grinned back. I could say the same, David. This planet's mineral readings are off the charts. But hey, watch your step. This place is as beautiful as it is tricky. No sooner had Marco spoken than a sharp clicking sound echoed through the air. Before either could react, a net made of a material neither soft nor entirely rigid swept over them, lifting them off the ground. Startled, they found themselves hanging from a towering tree, caught like flies in a web. From the underbrush, a figure emerged. She was taller than any human, with iridescent skin that shimmered under the planet's twin suns. Her eyes, reflecting a curious intelligence, focused on them as she approached. Humans, she said, her voice a strange melody of clicks and hums that their translators took a moment to process. You trespass, but not maliciously. David, trying to maintain diplomatic calm, responded, We're explorers from Earth. We mean no harm. We're just here to study and learn. She circled around the net, her gaze never leaving them. I am Mira. This planet is under our protection. Curiosity can be pardoned, but it must be guided and watched. Marco, less diplomatic and more direct, interjected, Great, a watchdog. Look, can you just let us down? We can talk about this without swinging from a tree. Mira considered this for a moment before releasing the mechanism that held the net aloft. They fell to the ground with a soft thud, surrounded by the alien foliage that cushioned their fall. Standing up and dusting themselves off, David extended a hand, a human gesture of peace. We appreciate the, soft landing. How about we start over? I'm David, and this is Marco. Mira touched his hand lightly, a gesture of acceptance. Your customs are noted. David, Marco. We can speak more on your intent and actions here. As they walked together through the forest, Mira explained her role as a guardian of sorts, ensuring that her planet's ecosystems remained undisturbed by external threats. David listened intently, fascinated not only by the alien biology, but also by the complex social structure Mira outlined. Marco, however, kept scanning the ground and rocks, muttering about potential samples. You know, Mira, maybe there's a way we can help each other. We have technologies and knowledge that might be beneficial for your people too. Mira paused, considering his words. Perhaps. It is rare to find others who do not immediately resort to extraction or conquest. Your approach. It is different, intriguing even. Their conversation deepened, the initial mistrust slowly morphing into a cautious collaboration. As the suns began to set, casting long shadows over the alien landscape, David felt a spark of excitement. This mission might just redefine humanity's place in the cosmos, not just as explorers, but as respectful partners in the vast universe. Chapter 2. Captive's Dilemma. As the alien night fell, the temperature dropped sharply, and the landscape transformed under the glow of bioluminescent plants. Mira led David and Marco to a structure that seemed to blend seamlessly with its surroundings, a dwelling made from the same shimmering material as the net that had ensnared them. Inside, the atmosphere was warm, lit by a gentle, pulsating light. The air was filled with a sweet, spicy scent that David found surprisingly comforting. Mira gestured for them to sit on what appeared to be cushions formed directly from the ground itself. "You are safe here," she began, "but I must enforce certain precautions during your stay." Marco, always the more blunt of the two, leaned forward. "What kind of precautions? We're not prisoners, are we?" "No, not prisoners," Mira replied, her voice calm and melodic. "Consider yourselves guests under observation. There are things about your kind we need to understand better." David nodded, trying to keep the situation diplomatic. "We're here to learn as well, Mira. Perhaps we can exchange knowledge. What do you need to understand about us?" Mira walked over to a console that seemed to grow out of the wall itself and began adjusting settings. "Your species shows a unique blend of curiosity and recklessness. It's important we understand the motivations behind your actions to ensure they do not disrupt the delicate balance of our world." As they talked, another figure entered the room. He was similar in appearance to Mira, but carried himself with an air of authority. "I am Soren," he introduced himself, Myra's counterpart in overseeing the integration of off-worlders. David stood to greet him, extending a hand. Soren hesitated, then reciprocated the gesture, his touch cautious. "Mira tells me you are explorers, not conquerors. This is unusual." "Yes, we explore to learn, not to take," David explained, sensing the need to reinforce their peaceful intentions. Marco, looking around the room with interest, added, "And we've noticed you have some pretty advanced tech here. Maybe there's stuff we could learn from each other." Soren's eyes narrowed slightly, but he nodded. "Perhaps. What is it that you seek on this planet?" David responded, "Primarily, knowledge. Understanding your ecosystems, your technology. It could help us prevent mistakes in our own world." Soren seemed to consider this. "And what can you offer us in return?" Marco, who had been collecting samples and data on his portable device, held it up. "Insights into human technology, environmental management, maybe even medical advancements." The conversation shifted as Mira and Soren discussed among themselves in their clicking language. After a moment, Mira turned back to them. "We will consider your proposal. For now, you will stay as our guests. Rooms have been prepared." They were shown to individual rooms that, like the rest of the dwelling, were part organic and part something else entirely. The beds were soft and inviting, adapting to the shape of their bodies as they lay down. As the door closed, David whispered to Marco, "We need to be careful. They're interested, but I sense they're also wary of us." Marco nodded, his expression serious for once. "Yeah, we're walking on thin ice. But it's worth it if we can establish a good relationship here." In his own room, David reflected on the day's events. The potential for a meaningful exchange of knowledge was immense, but so were the risks. As he drifted off to sleep, he hoped that their stay would lead to understanding rather than conflict, opening a new chapter in human-alien relations. Chapter 3: Ritual of Unity. The next morning, David and Marco were awakened by the soft hum of the alien technology powering down the transparent walls of their rooms, revealing the breathtaking morning vista of the alien planet. As they met outside their quarters, they were greeted by Mira, who seemed more relaxed than the previous day. "Good morning," David greeted, still amazed by the night's transformation into day on this alien world. Mira nodded. "Today, you will partake in a ritual. It's important for our understanding and your integration." Marco looked skeptical. "A ritual? What kind of ritual are we talking about?" "It is a sharing of knowledge and experience, a fundamental part of our culture," Mira explained as she led them toward a large, open structure that resembled an amphitheater. "It will help us understand each other better." As they approached, They saw Soren waiting for them, along with several other aliens, each varying slightly in appearance and stature, suggesting a rich diversity among Myra's species. Soren stepped forward, his demeanor serious. This ritual involves a direct exchange of thoughts and memories. It is intimate and requires openness. David exchanged a glance with Marco. Sharing thoughts and memories seemed invasive, but it also presented a unique opportunity to deepen their diplomatic relations. "We understand. We're ready to participate," David confirmed, and Marco nodded in agreement. They were guided to the center of the amphitheater, where devices resembling headbands were gently placed around their heads. Mira and Soren donned similar devices, positioning themselves opposite the humans. "Relax and let your thoughts flow. Do not resist the exchange," Soren instructed. As the ritual began, David felt a tingling sensation around his temples. Suddenly, images, sounds, and feelings flooded his senses. Alien landscapes, cultural ceremonies, familial interactions, all streaming from Mira and Soren's memories into his mind. Simultaneously, his own memories of Earth, oceans, forests, cities, and people, flowed outwards. He could sense Mira and Soren experiencing his life on Earth, the beauty and the challenges. Marco, too, was deeply immersed, his usual bravado replaced by a look of profound connection. Through the exchange, they not only shared memories but also emotions, understanding each other's fears, hopes, and dreams. After what felt like both an eternity and only a moment, the flow of memories ceased. The headbands were removed, and a silence fell over the group, each individual processing the intense exchange they had just experienced. Soren was the first to speak. "This was enlightening. Your world, your struggles, and joys are not so different from ours." Mira nodded in agreement. "And we see now that your intentions here are sincere. This understanding changes much." David, still reeling from the experience, found his voice. "And we've gained a profound respect for your culture and challenges. We hope this will be the foundation of a strong relationship." Marco added, "Yeah, there's a lot we can learn from each other. Not just technology or knowledge, but how to coexist with different worlds and peoples." The aliens conferred among themselves briefly before Mira addressed them again. "We will discuss among ourselves how best to proceed from here. In the meantime, you are welcome to explore this area with Soren as your guide. There are aspects of our technology and culture we wish to show you." As they walked out of the amphitheater, David and Marco discussed the ritual's impact. "I never expected something like this," Marco admitted. "It's more than just an exchange of knowledge. It's like we're part of their world now." David nodded, thoughtful. "It's a big step. Let's make sure we honor this new connection and build something lasting." Their walk with Soren became a tour of the surrounding area, showcasing alien agriculture, architecture, and more, each moment building on the understanding and respect established by the ritual. The path forward was clear. Cooperation and mutual respect would guide their actions on this alien planet. Chapter 4. Cultural Revelations. After the intense ritual of the previous day, David and Marco spent the morning with Soren, who took them on a tour of the local community. The alien settlement was a blend of natural beauty and technological integration, unlike anything they had seen on Earth. As they walked through a marketplace, Soren explained, "This is the heart of our daily life. Everything from food to technology is shared here. We believe in a community where everyone contributes according to their abilities and takes according to their needs." Marco, ever curious about alien technology, pointed at a stall displaying devices that seemed to manipulate light and air. "How do these work? What are they used for?" Soren picked up a small, crystal-like device and handed it to Marco. "This is a climate regulator. It helps maintain the atmosphere in our dwellings. Would you like to see how it is manufactured? Yes, definitely, Marco responded enthusiastically, and David nodded in agreement, equally interested. They were led to a nearby building that looked modest from the outside, but housed an advanced production facility inside. Soren introduced them to another member of his species, a technician named Torin. Torin, with a friendly nod, said, "Welcome, humans. Soren tells me you are keen to understand our technology. Let me show you the process." As Torin guided them through the facility, he explained the principles behind their technology, which harnessed natural energy sources and minimized environmental impact. David, fascinated, took notes, realizing the potential applications for such technology on Earth. "Your approach to sustainability is impressive," David commented. "On Earth, we struggle with environmental degradation. Learning from your methods could prove invaluable." Torin smiled. "We faced similar challenges many cycles ago. Sharing knowledge is the first step towards solving such problems." The tour continued with a visit to a communal dining area where they were offered a meal. The food, consisting of various local plants and proteins, was unlike anything they had tasted before, but surprisingly flavorful. As they ate, Soren asked, "What are your primary energy sources on Earth?" David replied, "We use a mix of fossil fuels, solar, and wind energy. But we're always looking for more efficient and less harmful options." Soren nodded thoughtfully. "Perhaps a deeper exchange in our energy technologies could be beneficial. We use primarily geothermal and solar power here, with some advances that might interest you." Marco, chewing thoughtfully, added, "I'd like to see those geothermal setups. There's a lot we could do with that." After the meal, they were taken to a cultural center where they learned about the aliens' history, art, and philosophy. The center was a circular room with walls covered in vibrant murals depicting various aspects of their civilization's journey. Soren explained, "Art and philosophy are integral to our way of life. They reflect our values and our understanding of the universe." David, looking at the murals, said, "There's a lot of depth here. I can see how your values are reflected in your art. It's very moving." The day ended with a visit to a natural reserve, where Soren showed them some of the planet's unique flora and fauna. As they walked through the reserve, Marco said, "Today has been incredible. Seeing how your society functions has given us a lot to think about." David agreed. "It's been enlightening. The way your community works together, the integration of technology with nature, and your respect for the environment, it's all very inspiring." As they returned to their guest quarters, Soren said, "I am glad you found the day worthwhile. Understanding each other's cultures and technologies is the foundation of a strong partnership." That night, as they reviewed their notes and discussed their experiences, David and Marco agreed that the insights gained today would be crucial in shaping future collaborations between their peoples. They went to sleep with a sense of accomplishment and anticipation for what the next day would bring. Chapter 5. Mutual Understanding. The following morning, David and Marco met early with Soren, who had arranged for them to participate in a community project as a part of their cultural exchange. It was an opportunity to work alongside the aliens, contributing directly to their community while learning more about their way of life. "Today, you'll help us with the restoration of a nearby river ecosystem," Soren explained as they walked towards the site. "It's a vital part of our environmental management." Marco looked around, impressed by the lush greenery and the vibrant wildlife. "This is quite different from the industrial tech we saw yesterday. It's more hands." "Yes," Soren agreed. "Technology aids us, but we maintain a strong connection to our environment. Balance is key." Upon arriving at the river, they were greeted by an alien named Joran, an expert in ecological preservation. "Welcome, David and Marco. Here, We're replanting indigenous flora to strengthen the riverbank and improve water quality. We'd appreciate your help in planting these seedlings." David nodded, ready to get his hands dirty. "We'd love to help. Lead the way, Joran." As they planted, Joran explained the importance of each species and how they contributed to the overall ecosystem. Marco, usually more interested in technology, found himself fascinated by the alien approach to ecology. On Earth, we often struggle with similar issues. Learning this could really help us. "Yes," Joran replied. "Sharing knowledge is how we all grow." "What techniques do you use on Earth for such projects?" David joined in, sharing details about Earth's permaculture and conservation efforts. "We've started integrating more sustainable practices, but it's an ongoing battle against previous damage." Joran listened intently, then suggested, "Perhaps we could organize a seminar. You could present these methods to our Environmental Council. Mutual learning could benefit us all." As the day progressed, they worked diligently, occasionally pausing to take in the beauty of their surroundings and the progress they had made. By the end of the day, a freshly bolstered riverbank stood as a testament to their joint effort. Exhausted but satisfied, they returned to the communal area where a meal was waiting for them. As they ate, Soren brought up the topic of their ongoing cultural exchange. "I've noticed a significant shift in our community's perception of humans since your arrival," Soren commented. "Your willingness to engage with our practices is commendable." David smiled, feeling a sense of pride. "We've learned a lot from you as well. It's been an eye-opening experience." Marco, with a mouthful of food, added, "Yeah, and it's not just about the work. It's about understanding each other on a deeper level." Soren nodded. "Indeed. Tomorrow, we would like to take you to our Council of Elders. They are keen to meet you and discuss potential collaborations further." David and Marco exchanged excited glances. Meeting the Council of Elders would be a significant step forward in their mission. That night, as they prepared notes for their presentation to the Council, both felt a deep connection to the planet and its inhabitants. They discussed strategies not only for ecological collaboration, but also for broader scientific and cultural exchanges. "This goes beyond just environmental work," Marco noted. "It's about building a bridge between our worlds." David agreed, feeling optimistic about the future. Tomorrow's meeting might just be the beginning of something much bigger. As they went to bed, the thoughts of their Earth, far away yet always in their hearts, mingled with the possibilities of new friendships and alliances in this alien world. The mutual understanding they were forging here could one day benefit not just their own planet, but many others in the cosmos. Chapter 6. Deepening Connection. The morning brought with it a palpable sense of anticipation. After breakfast, David and Marco followed Soren to the Council of Elders, a serene complex located at the heart of the settlement. The architecture was a harmonious blend of natural elements and advanced technology, embodying the aliens' philosophy of balance and integration. Upon entering the council chamber, they were introduced to the elders, who greeted them with a quiet dignity. The head of the council, an elder named Voran, addressed them warmly. "We welcome you, David and Marco. Your activities in our community have been well received. Today, we hope to deepen our understanding and discuss how we can collaborate further." David stepped forward, offering a respectful nod. "Thank you, Elder Voran. We are grateful for the opportunity to learn from you and perhaps share knowledge from our world that could be beneficial." Marco chimed in, "Yes, we've seen how much we can learn from each other, especially in environmental technologies and methods." Voran motioned towards a large circular screen that lit up with images of various Earth environments and alien landscapes. "Let us begin by comparing our worlds to identify common challenges and solutions." As the discussion unfolded, David presented on Earth's renewable energy initiatives and climate change mitigation strategies. Marco contributed insights into geological conservation practices and how they could be adapted to the alien environment. An elder named Tollem, who specialized in technology, was particularly interested in solar and geothermal energy applications. Your solar technology is quite advanced but different from ours. Could you demonstrate how you integrate these systems into urban areas? David was prepared with data and diagrams, showing the integration processes and outcomes. Here's how we optimize solar panel placement in urban settings to maximize efficiency without disrupting city aesthetics or function. Tollem nodded thoughtfully. Impressive. We have similar challenges here. An exchange program could be beneficial, allowing us to study each other's implementations firsthand. Marco suggested we could start with a small joint project, maybe a pilot area here and one on Earth. Monitor and compare the results over time. Voron agreed. A sensible proposal. It would serve as a practical test for our theories and technologies. The meeting continued with discussions on potential exchange programs involving scientists and experts from both worlds, focusing on technology, ecology, and even education. Soren noted, this collaboration could extend beyond just environmental issues. There's much we can learn from each other culturally and socially. As the meeting drew to a close, Elder Voron concluded, today marks a significant step towards a partnership that could benefit not just our two peoples but potentially others in the cosmos. Let us proceed with careful planning and mutual respect. David and Marco left the meeting feeling uplifted and motivated. They had come to this planet as explorers and were now part of a pioneering venture into interstellar cooperation. On their walk back, Soren expressed his appreciation. You've handled the discussions very well. The elders are not easily impressed, but you've both managed to do just that. Marco, with a grin, replied, it feels good to be part of something this big. It's not just about exploration anymore. It's about making real changes. David nodded in agreement. Let's get to work on those joint projects. There's a lot to do, and I'm looking forward to every bit of it. That evening, as they documented the day's events and planned their next steps, the connection between the two worlds seemed stronger than ever. They were not just visitors now. They were active participants in a shared future, ready to tackle the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead together. Chapter 7. The Ceremony. As the day of the joint project ceremony approached, David and Marco worked tirelessly alongside Soren and the alien technical team to finalize the details. The ceremony was to officially mark the beginning of the pilot projects in both solar and geothermal energy exchange, as well as the official launch of the cultural exchange program. Early in the morning, they gathered at the designated site, a field near the community that had been prepared for the first installation of an experimental energy converter. The area was bustling with activity, with members of both the human and alien teams interacting, setting up equipment, and reviewing plans. Marco, checking the alignment of the solar panels, discussed with Tollem. The angle we've set these at should maximize the capture of your sun's trajectories based on the data we've collected over the past few weeks. Tollem nodded, examining the digital readout on his device. Yes, and we've adjusted our converters to handle the increased efficiency. It's fascinating to see our theories put into practice. David was overseeing the setup of the geothermal drills with another technician, Joran. We've adapted the drill heads to be less invasive, minimizing the impact on the surrounding ecosystem. We hope this will set a precedent for how we approach planetary engineering in the future. Joran, impressed with the human consideration for ecological balance, responded, your approach aligns well with our principles. We are eager to see the results. As the final preparations were made, a crowd of both humans and aliens began to gather. Soren approached David and Marco, his expression one of proud satisfaction. "Everything is ready. Elder Voron and the council will be here shortly to begin the ceremony." The ceremony started with speeches from both Elder Voron and a representative from the human team, each expressing their hopes and commitments to the joint projects. The speeches highlighted the significance of cooperation and the mutual benefits that the exchange of knowledge and resources would bring. Following the speeches, David and Marco joined Soren and Tollem at the center of the field, where a symbolic device had been set up. This device was designed to be activated simultaneously by human and alien technologies, representing the unity and connected efforts of both peoples. Marco looked over at David, giving him a nod. "Here goes nothing," he whispered, as they prepared to initiate the device. With a coordinated press of both human and alien activation mechanisms, the device powered up, emitting a soft hum and a glow that gradually brightened. Cheers erupted from the crowd as the first successful activation was confirmed. Elder Voron stepped forward, his voice carrying across the excited murmurs. "Today we do not just launch a project, we lay the foundation for a lasting partnership. May our cooperation light the way for a brighter future for all our peoples." The rest of the day was filled with demonstrations, workshops, and discussions about the next phases of the projects. David and Marco participated actively, facilitating sessions and sharing insights from the initial setup. As the ceremony concluded, the groups mingled, discussing the day's successes and the road ahead. Soren, standing with David and Marco as they watched the sun set over the newly installed panels, remarked, "This is just the beginning, but what a beginning it is." David responded, "It's more than we could have hoped for when we first landed here. It's amazing what we can achieve when we work together." Marco added, "And to think this is just the start. Who knows what we can achieve next?" As they walked back to their quarters under the light of the alien stars, the sense of accomplishment and the excitement for the future was palpable. This day would indeed mark the beginning of a profound and promising alliance. Chapter 8. A New Dawn. The final day of David and Marco's initial visit dawned clear and bright, reflecting the successful completion of the joint projects and the solid relationships that had been forged. As they prepared to return to Earth to report and plan the next phases, both men felt a mix of excitement and nostalgia for the time spent on this remarkable alien planet. Soren joined them for breakfast, bringing with him the news that the pilot projects had already begun to show positive preliminary results. "The data from the solar panels and geothermal units is very promising," he announced, passing over a tablet displaying graphs and metrics. "It seems we are on the right path." David, examining the data, was pleased. "This is great news. It validates our efforts and the technologies we've implemented. We'll have a lot to discuss back home." Marco, ever the pragmatist, added, "We need to make sure we continue this momentum. Regular updates, constant communication, and more visits. We need a solid plan." Soren nodded in agreement. "We have established a communication protocol with your team on Earth. We'll ensure that there is a continuous exchange of information and resources." After breakfast, they met with Elder Voron and the Council of Elders to formally conclude their visit. The elders expressed their gratitude and hope for the future, emphasizing the importance of the partnership not just for their two peoples, but potentially as a model for other interstellar relations. Elder Voron addressed them warmly. "Your work here has laid down the roots of trust and cooperation. Let us continue to nurture these roots so they may grow into a strong and enduring partnership." David responded with equal warmth, "We are deeply grateful for your hospitality and openness. We leave here enriched by your culture and your friendship. We look forward to our continued collaboration." Marco chimed in, "And we're just getting started. There's so much more we can achieve together." The formalities concluded with a communal meal, where members of both the human and alien teams shared dishes from their respective worlds, symbolizing their shared bond. Laughter and stories filled the air, weaving a tapestry of camaraderie and mutual respect. As the time for departure neared, Soren escorted David and Marco to the landing area where their shuttle awaited. The goodbye was bittersweet, with promises to return and invitations for members of the alien community to visit Earth. Standing by the shuttle, Soren extended his hand to David. "Farewell, my friends. Until we meet again, we will keep the fires of our cooperation burning brightly." David grasped his hand firmly. "Thank you, Soren. We leave part of our hearts here with you. We'll be back soon." Marco, ever enthusiastic, added, "And next time, we might just bring some more folks from Earth to see what we've been up to." With a final wave, David and Marco boarded the shuttle. As it lifted off, they watched through the windows as Soren and the others waved back, the settlement growing smaller but the ties between them stronger than ever. As they set course for Earth, David reflected on their journey. "It's amazing, isn't it? How far we've come in such a short time." Marco nodded, looking back at the receding planet. "It's just the beginning, but what a beginning it is. Here's to a future where we keep building bridges." The shuttle soared through the alien sky, leaving behind a world that had changed them forever. Ahead lay Earth, and with it, the next chapter of an interstellar partnership that promised new horizons, new challenges, and new opportunities for all.